Welcome to Let's Get Dumb, the podcast where I, comedian Joe Kilgallon, and comedian Jonah Jurkens like to ask dumb questions, tell dumb stories, and just have a dumb old time with you. Jonah, my man, how the fuck are you?
I'm fucking great, Joe. How are you?
I'm pretty fucking good. I'm a little fired up right now, though.
You're a little fucking fired up right now?
Yeah, dude, you
what
fired
the
up?
fuck, dude?
Because Jonah revealed some shit to myself and our producer Austin here about...
We're starting hot here, huh?
Yeah, because I was surprised to find this out. Now, for those of you who've been following the podcast for a long time, Jonah liked to ruin the podcast by doing this Yesterday gag about the movie Yesterday, which is a movie about the Beatles, blah, 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 blah. But I found out Jonah does not like the band The Beatles. No. And I was shocked by that because I knew you didn't like that movie that was Beatles related.
What movie was that, Joe?
Yesterday. But to not like the Beatles, to me, is insane. I don't understand, like, why?
Why don't
like
the
the
Beatles?
Sound of their music annoys you? Or?
Well, I mean, first off, I want to say that the Yesterday bit was a great bit, and that only came about because you got so mad at me.
But you can't call it a great bit when I have numbers that back it up.
Oh, you have numbers because you have two your friends.
We get 300,000 listeners a week, but it went down to about 100,000 because of that fucking bit.
That's interesting because I had a million people message me.
Of our audience.
Yeah, I had a million people message me saying,
"Good
job,
I have good
bud."
friends of ours messaging me, being like, "Are you not going to slit his throat?" And I go, "I don't believe in that kind of violence."
Yeah,
sorry, but
I have good friends that go.
Into that,
I have good friends that message me saying, "This is good television."
Look, we made up, and by the way, good friends are open micers. You know it, and I know it. So let's focus
I don't have
on
good
the
friends
issue.
that are open micers.
Let's focus on the issue at hand. Okay, the guy who was the guest that week is slightly above an open micer. So
hard disagree.
I'm kidding. He's a hilarious comedian. I just want to give you shit. But the Beatles, though, Austin, our producer, and myself were both shocked because they're such an institution. Like, I don't not like them is you're going to get an eyebrow raise. Do you not like them so you could get the eyebrow raise? You could be a little bit of a contrarian.
You know what I think, honestly, it is? I think there's a little bit of like, okay, when we were in high school, Leo was big, right?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Right.
Okay.
And he was like a sex symbol and all that. And like Titanic was huge. And like Romeo and Juliet. I thought Romeo and Michelle, I was thinking there for a second.
By the way, I was in grade school. I don't know how the fuck old you are when Titanic came out. Titanic came out like 1996, dude. 97, I think.
Did you just call me boo?
I started to burp.
A Freudian slip?
I didn't say boo. I said booed.
I love you too.
I meant to say
hey,
dude,
Joe,
but I said
look at
booed.
Me. I love you.
I love you too. But you know what it was?
No, look at my eyes when you say it. You didn't look. Say it.
I love you.
You closed your eyes.
I did not close
my
fucking eyes.
Yes, you did. You closed your eyes and looked down.
Hey,
look
Jonah.
at the camera. Yeah.
I love you.
Oh, thank you. I love you too.
I love Jonah. I'm looking right in the camera just for him.
God, that was really hard for you.
I will admit it sounded like boo, but I was trying to say Jude, but it came out as booed. I'm pretty sure I said booed.
Yeah.
Because I thought a burp was coming out.
Can we run that back, Austin?
No, we can't.
Okay.
So you're a hater, is what you're saying.
So my point is I think it was like, okay, so Leo's huge. Titanic to me was in high school. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter when, but like when Leo was big, you were like, I don't like him because everyone wants
because everybody was like into him, right? And then I respect him as an actor, right? I love him as an actor. He's one of my favorites.
Actor.
Yeah,
so good.
Which I want to relive Titanic because I hated that movie in the theater. I saw it in the theater, I hated it, but because everybody else liked it, and I want to rewatch it because there's something I want to talk about later about what's going on in the news right now. I know this is in the future right now.
It's futurist, but we'll talk about it.
But the thing is, I think because of that, I don't like the Beatles because everybody loves the Beatles, right? Oh. I respect the Beatles. I don't deny that they're not good, and I do love some of their songs. I just think they're overrated, and I don't think.
When I hear people say I don't like the Beatles, you might as well say I don't like air. I don't like breathing because it's like it's such a thing that everyone loves, and I thought. Because when I meet people who say they don't like the Beatles, I do question them because I'm like, I thought that was like the one thing we all agreed on. Like, they're amazing.
Right.
They put out so many fucking hits.
Right.
And in a pretty short period of time, when you think about it too.
Yeah.
That it's hard to believe that anybody would not like them. I can understand being like, oh, I don't love them. What?
I love Shout.
It's Twist and Shout.
Twist and Shout. That's a great
Shout's
song.
a different song.
I love Twist and Shout.
Shout now.
Yeah.
Come up and shout. No, that's different. But Twist and Shout is.
Twist and Shout.
And
I like that they had to
write that song.
I know that the one thing I do know about the Beatles is that they had to do that song last because whoever sang that song would lose his voice.
Yes, John Lennon.
That was John Lennon?
Yeah, and the recording that's so big, it was at the end of a recording session, and his voice is kind of fucked up at that point, but it makes the song sound better. Yeah, it's a rock and roll scream type song.
And I loved Yellow Submarine as a child. It was one of my favorite movies growing up.
And that's a very childlike song. Yeah,
it is. But the movie.
Oh, the cartoon movie.
The cartoon movie.
Yeah, that's an acid trip. You liked that as a kid?
Yeah, I did. Well, also my parents were ex-drug addicts, so that's probably why.
That is true.
Yeah.
People might not know that about Jonah.
Yeah.
Yeah, his parents used to what was it? Some light marijuana, but he made it seem like it was a worse thing.
Oh, I mean,
I'm kidding, obviously.
it was everything.
Heroin, everybody.
Yeah, coke, heroin, you name it.
So Jonah, I didn't know that. I think the reason I was
There's no
so
major
appalled-
bands that you like. I don't like them. Everybody loves them, but I don't like it.
I don't like country music, and everyone loves country music now.
That's understandable because that's like a thing. I like country music.
But why?
I'm embarrassed. You know why? Because it reminds me.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just curious why.
You know, I like really pop. Excuse me. I like very pop country, and I like the country that was like. I don't know anything about country now, but like when I was in college, during the summers, we would just drink outside, and everybody would play country music. So it reminded me of like getting drunk with hot girls.
Okay,
So that was like why I love it.
Women love country,
They love
and
it.
I saw Morgan Wallen. Which
Yeah,
I
I don't know who
Waylon
the fuck
forever.
that is.
I
Yeah.
don't really know. I didn't know any of his songs,
Uh-huh.
but I saw him at Wrigley Field here in the beautiful city of Chicago, and I will say his audience, his fans, were a lot of early 20s women.
Yeah,
in
shorts.
boots and short shorts and the cowboy hat thing, which does make me laugh because I'm like, we're in Chicago. There's no cowboy shit here. This is a major city. It's a metropolis. Unless a lot of them were coming from the farmland.
I mean, there's a cowboy store 2 blocks away from here.
Is there really?
Yeah.
Where you could buy boots and stuff?
Yeah, it's
boots
mainly-
look so uncomfortable to me. Someone's
They
got
look
to
so
sell me on
uncomfortable.
boots. Listeners, tell me I'm wrong about boots because I think boots, when I see them, I go, why the fuck would you choose to wear that over like regular like Nike or Adidas or like sneakers, gym shoes, whatever you want to call them,
Yeah.
that look and feel comfortable?
Yeah, it's like motorcycle boots. You ever want a pair of those? I had a pair of those. Those are like so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't
I feel like
get
I'm
it.
walking around in like ski boots. It was like "Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun," like when I'm walking around on it.
I wear boots in the winter when there's a lot of snow, like
Yeah.
kind of cooler, fashionable I can't talk. Fashionable boots.
Like
I think it's the
Uggs.
bubble
You
boots.
big Uggs
Fashionable
guy?
boots. No, I'm not an Uggs guy, but like I've got like they're like hiking boots, but you could wear them in the winter type of thing. You know what I mean?
Sorels or whatever.
I don't know what the fuck they're called, but Wolverine looking type boots.
Okay.
And I hate wearing them because you have to bend down, you got to get your foot in them, you got to tie it up.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
Take
and
them
I
off
gotta
is a
imagine
fucking
cowboy
nightmare,
boots
too.
are the same thing.
Yeah.
I've seen people take off cowboy boots. It's a fucking effort.
I like the belt buckles though. Those are sweet.
You think so?
Yeah. What?
I
They're
don't
amazing.
know. I can't relate to the culture. Although every time I've been in the South, I've had fun. Like, I've done shows in Tennessee and Arkansas.
Well, you believe in their politics.
What's that?
What?
No, I didn't hear. I believe in their politics.
What did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
Uh-huh.
I'm a big, that's why I love country music.
Right.
I've never, first of all, this will be the first time I think we've ever talked politics on this podcast, but it'd be very weird to meet someone who's like, I'm a diehard Republican, but I fucking hate country music.
Right.
No, it doesn't work.
That'd be insane. Yeah.
They're together.
Or it's like, I'm
You
a
can't be
diehard
one or the
Republican. I am like so fucking far right wing. Who's your favorite artist? Tupac Shakur.
Yeah. It doesn't, I would love to meet someone who's like, dude.
I love Rebel Bucket.
Yeah, I fucking, dude, you get me fucking Morgan Wallen.
Yeah.
You get me fucking Brad Paisley. You get me, I can't think of a third artist, but Country Thunder, that's the shit I want to go to.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, I am a communist. Like,
Yeah.
that doesn't work.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Yeah, right. Yeah. And also, I believe in a woman's right to choose.
Yeah, it's just, no, they don't. They have to be part of the whole thing. Because
Right.
I think part of being a big country music fan
Don't
is
Look
that-
Up really changed my life also.
Yeah, love
Yeah.
that movie.
Yeah.
You have to embrace the whole culture that goes along with it.
Right.
At one point, one of the openers for the Morgan Wallen concert said, 2 different ones. One was saying Bailey Zimmerman was his name. And he said, I just want to thank my Lord and Savior. I don't want to get preachy. And then
Then you're like, are they talking about me?
no, he paused. He goes, I don't want to get preachy. And then he paused. He goes, nah, I'm going to get preachy. And then people cheered and they were
Yeah.
like going nuts. And then he started talking about Jesus.
Yeah.
And people were into it though.
Yeah.
I'd say the majority of the people who were there were like, fuck yeah.
What's the dumbest thing you've ever heard at a concert that the head singer or like some part of the band said? 'Cause I have a good one
Fucking
here.
that.
Really?
No, I mean, I don't know, dumb. I can't think of anything where they said it. And I remember, you know what it was? I think it was dumb to me. And I noticed the difference. So for the listener, I was at Wrigley Field, home of the Chicago Cubs, also is an amazing concert venue in Chicago in the summer. They get huge acts there.
Yeah.
This summer alone, they're going to have
So you're-
Fall Out Boy. Hold on a sec. Fall Out Boy, Morgan Wallen, Pink, Guns N' Roses, Bruce Springsteen, and I think there's a sixth act I can't think of. But those are all like fucking AA lists.
I'm going to Bruce.
Are you? Cool.
Yeah.
So I saw Fall Out Boy and then Morgan Wallen back-to-back days. The Fall Out Boy was the Wednesday, Morgan Wallen was the Thursday. So I got to see two different crowds of people and different opening acts and different everything.
Right.
Each one had 4 opening acts before the main event went on.
Right.
2 of Morgan Wallen's, and they're all country, obviously. Both before they introduced their songs were like, this song was number 3 on the country music charts, and this was the number 7. They kept telling me about their chart rating, and it felt so insecure to me.
Yeah,
like they wanted to be like, hey, we're not you didn't pay to see us, but we're still really great too.
Right, we're there too.
So please come and support. It just felt fucking lame.
Yeah,
where not one band that opened for Fall Out Boy. And they were all alternative punk rock type bands. Not any of them were like, oh, by the way, we were fucking number 12 last week on the fucking modern rock chart. Like, they just sang their songs.
Yeah.
And they would maybe tell a story about the song here or there, or was just like, fuck yeah, Chicago. You know, they did that, but they didn't. It was insane to me. I remember just thinking to myself, why the fuck do they all keep talking about their chart position?
Yeah, I love that. That's amazing.
You like that, actually?
I do. I think it's funny. I love when like artists are like, you know what? You care about my opinions and thoughts, and they're like, no, we don't. We just want to hear the fucking music. Like, so yeah,
what's the dumbest
So
thing?
Kanye West, and I've never seen him live. Always wanted to. So Kanye West has a Storytellers album, VH1 Storytellers. You can't. I tried to find it the other day. You cannot find it anywhere. I still have it. You can watch the video on YouTube for the people listening, and he does amazing, and the song amazing, and he does a great job at it. Is it amazing? No. Is it good? Yeah. Is it the best thing I've ever seen? No. But is it good? I'm sorry.
I like that pattern. Keep doing it. Actually, I was enjoying that.
Yeah. I mean, is it beautiful? Not really. But just keep doing that. But so he does amazing, and then a storyteller. So he starts going into his thing, and then he goes, and this is way back when, before the Neverland documentary went out. He goes, Michael Jackson, amazing, and everybody's cheers, right? And then he goes, Michael Phelps, amazing, and then half the people are like, yeah, he's pretty good. Yes,
Great
Michael
swimmer,
Phelps,
yeah, gold medalist.
And then he goes, O.J. Simpson, amazing. And then maybe a few people like clapped. And then he was like, come on, y'all. He goes, when he did, it was pretty amazing, right? And then he starts going on. He goes, I don't read. He goes, I watch movies, you know? And and then he goes on this whole thing. He goes, I don't know, maybe having a real conversation with people is more important. And then he goes, I'm jealous of y'all. I will never know what it's like to see me perform.
Oh yeah, that was a famous quote of his.
Yeah. He goes, sure, I can watch it on TV, but it ain't the same. And it was like my favorite. Like he's like, I'm gonna get everybody on this. He goes, Michael Jackson, yes, everyone claps, right? Michael Phelps, people are like, weird transition, and they kind of clap. And then he's like, watch this, O.J. Simpson. Everyone's like, nah, Kanye, I'm not on your side on that.
I think
it's my favorite.
I love everything you just said, by the way, and it makes me like Kanye more because he's so fucking ridiculous.
He's insane.
He's so
he's
dumb.
He's a genius.
He's a genius, but he's
musically.
also musically, yes.
Yeah.
And it's evident that he's not in real life because the way he did that, he probably thought like, fucking Kanye, I'm gonna get him. Michael Jackson. Everyone's like, Michael Jackson, great artist.
Incredible.
Fuck yeah, we're so
love
influential. We love Michael Jackson. Then he was probably on the Michael train. He's like, Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
People were like you said.
Yeah.
I don't know why he went from that to that, but yeah, I mean, he's amazing. Yeah, greatest swimmer of all time, sure.
Right.
And then he probably thought, I'm Kanye West.
Yeah.
I'm such a badass.
Watch
I can
this
say
shit.
whatever the fuck I want, and these dumb fucks are gonna cheer.
Yeah.
OJ, and they were like, no.
And they're like,
I
well, he was amazing. He goes, yeah, he was until he murdered a bunch of people.
Yeah, like, were we talking about his stats?
Yeah.
Are you talking about like the way he could fucking hit the hole?
Also, O.J. Simpson has the greatest money grab of all time, the I Did It book.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
That is a good money grab.
Yeah.
I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah.
But I do love Kanye. I love any cocky comments like, I'll never know what it's like to see myself perform.
Like, I'm so jealous.
That's
like being like, Joe, I don't know what it's like to have a conversation with me, and I'm so fucking jealous of you.
You know, I'm going to do that at my next stand-up set. I'm going to say to the audience,
you're going to do that.
I'm going to tell them, I'm like, you guys don't know how lucky you are. You know, I was flipping through I was at a hotel, and comedians, when we do the road, we always watch such nonsense at the hotel. Although this isn't nonsense. The first Pirates of the Caribbean movie was legitimately a good movie. Why are you laughing? You don't think so?
I just didn't think that. I didn't see that coming.
Oh, you didn't? Oh.
I didn't see this coming at all. You know what, guys? The first Pirates is good, okay?
It's so good.
I don't know why everyone's fucking shitting on that stuff.
Well, I think people shit on the franchise because they did maybe too many movies or whatever, and it maybe got a little bit more outlandish toward the end. But the very first one is, if you don't like the first Pirates of the Caribbean or think it's a good movie, you could get the fuck out of the world.
Yeah.
Like, think about
Do
that.
you know what also people don't give enough credit to?
What?
Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Was that the remake they just did or the new one?
The second one.
Oh,
I was thinking of a random thing
I
to
don't know.
say.
But
which
let
is
me
good.
tell you why I brought up Pirates of the Caribbean. Because I love the line that Johnny Depp's Jack Sparrow gives. It's such a cocky line when he says to them, I want you all to remember this day, the day that you almost caught Captain Jack Sparrow. You know, that's I love cocky lines like that. I'll give you my all-time favorite cocky line, and then maybe you have one too.
In a movie?
Not in a movie, just in life.
Okay.
It's a professional athlete. Ty Cobb, the baseball player, who's
Are you going to say the N-word here? Because it feels like you're going to say the N-word here.
He probably said the N-word a lot in his life, but I'm not.
Okay.
They asked Ty Cobb, and I think it was like, whatever major sports publication was going on in the 60s.
Joe, don't screw up when you say bigger.
I will be okay.
Okay.
So they asked Ty Cobb, they said, hey, Ty, what do you think you would hit against today's pitching? And he goes, I don't know, 330? You go, 330? Ty, you were a lifetime 370 hitter. Why 330? He goes, you got to understand, I'm 72 years old.
Yeah.
So I just love the idea that he was like,
Doesn't Jordan have a...
that's a fake quote. Jordan
is
never
it?
said that.
Okay.
No, people recycled the Ty
What was that
Cobb
quote? You know that quote.
Yeah, people said like, Jordan, what would the 72-10 Bulls do against today? And I think we'd win and whatever. And they go, really? He's like, well, you got to understand, we're all in our 50s and 60s. Like that. Jordan never.
I love a
said
good
that.
setup like that. What I try to do for years is a setup, which is I forget where I learned it from. I think, anyways. But the joke is, I stopped swearing a few years ago. And then people go, really? You're like, no, I'm just fucking with you. Like that's so for years, I have whenever people are like, you got to keep down with the swear words. I always was like, I stopped swearing a few years ago, and people are like, oh, that's cool, and they just would go on. I'm like, God damn it, well, one fucking person. And we were paintballing, and this guy goes, guys, it's for a bachelor party, and they're like, guys, like, I know you guys are gonna have fun, but there are also kids here, so you got to keep your swearing down to a minimum. Just like don't say it at all. And I was just like, I actually stopped swearing a couple of years ago. And the guy goes, really? And I go, no, I'm just fucking with you. And he goes, guys, you really need to stop swearing. He starts like yelling at everybody. I was like, God damn it. Not one person appreciated that.
Couldn't get the laughing.
Like when you think you're going to be like, yeah, that's going to work really well. And it didn't. Love that.
Yeah, it could be fun for a while, but then you feel like a dipshit later. I think about, though, the cocky sports moments. I think that's what I'm the most jealous. I'm jealous of as a comedian. Like, look, we got a pretty sweet gig, right? We get to go up there and make people laugh, and it's an amazing feeling.
I mean, you don't, but I do.
Sure. I've forgotten more jokes than you'll ever write, Jonah.
Yeah, but that means I just perfect the 4 that I do.
There you go. Actually, you still enjoy comedy, so you're winning.
I do.
I don't. But, so we have a great thing.
Okay, so I got to interrupt you here. So you just said this. You hate comedy.
I've said this in the last 4 or 5 episodes.
You did.
Yeah.
We've all noticed your breakdowns. Mm-hmm. And so when you're on stage and you're crushing, which you do, you always have a great set. Are you just like, fuck you? Like the audience?
I think these
or
people are
are
so
you like
stupid to find the words out of my mouth funny. I despise them.
Really?
I hate them because while I'm up there and I'm killing, it makes me keep going. And that's why I despise them. I think if you guys would just stop laughing, I would feel shame.
Kill myself?
Yes, I'd feel shame, and then I could get off the stage sooner. No, you know what it is?
You're like feeling my pain.
Yeah, I guess.
What's going on.
No, I like doing it. I think the change in me has been that I used to have times in my life where I was like an addict, where I had to get on stage all the time.
Right.
And I wanted to be on stage all the time. Now I don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
If I have a gap in my fucking calendar, I'm not itching.
Really?
I used to itch. I'd be like, oh fuck, man. I'm looking at my next 6 months. I used to have a little pocket calendar thing where I'd write down all my gigs on, I'm old school still like that. I like to write shit down. And
now you just have your pocket pussy.
No, I don't use my phone for that. People always say you don't use your calendar app. I just don't. I don't have anything in my phone calendar about what I have to do.
I didn't start using it till this year because like my girlfriend and I have a shared calendar and it has changed my whole life.
Is it much better?
Because I used to have everything written down. Because my thing was I'd have a calendar up so I could visually see all the filled in dates, so then I could see how bad like if I wasn't full, it would freak me out. I don't know if
that's why I like the notepad. Though.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I like the notepad because when I see the gap, it motivates me to be like, I gotta fill that shit.
Yeah.
And I like writing it down. Now, if I see like a week off, I go, oh, sweet, I have a week off. What could I go do?
You also,
that's
like,
not
your life
comedy.
is like packed full of shit
My
already.
life's packed
though.
full of shit.
Yeah.
I'm different than most comedians in the sense that I'm a father of two, and I just have a lot going on. I'm spinning a lot of plates at all times. So I started to realize, I'm like, fuck. I used to, when I wasn't up on stage constantly, I would be like, oh my god, now I'm not having that. So that tells me something.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a sign of something. I don't know.
Yeah.
By the time this
I
episode
like this
comes out, I
journey.
might have already quit.
I know.
I might have already quit.
This is really fun, just like for our audience to watch the journey of a man just losing his mind.
It's not losing my mind. I feel like it's clarity in a weird way. I think, because I started stand-up comedy, I have to do it forever.
I feel like you're going to kill somebody. You're going to be like, oh, God, that felt good.
Depends who.
Yeah.
Depends who, right?
You really stared at me when you said that. You stared me down.
And actually, someone said, how have you not killed him yet? No, I'm joking. No, it's not. I still love it. And again, by the time this comes out, people are going to be like, I saw him the other day. He looks so happy on stage. I'm just, I don't know. I just have a lot going on in my life where I wish this part of it was easier.
Yeah.
I wish it's getting more complicated. When I talk to people about comedy and they say like, oh, this is what you have to do nowadays. I go, I don't want to do any of that shit.
Right.
I just don't want to do any of that shit.
It's dumb.
It's dumb. It's exhausting. I'm getting older. I've dedicated a lot of my time to this, but in the same regard, for whatever reason, when you do pursue a career in the arts, people expect you to stick with it until you become insanely rich.
Right.
And if you don't become insanely rich, you're looked at as a failure. You know what I mean?
Well, the gap between money and like no money and money is insane.
It is
right.
insane.
Right. It takes so long to actually get to that level.
Well, I'm making less now. I used to make more now, and I could probably make more, but I don't like doing the road as much anymore.
Right.
I can't stand it. I don't
hard.
like being away. The travel sucks.
Yeah, but I mean, you love your kids. You love.
Yeah, I miss them when I'm gone.
Right.
So there's a lot of that, and yeah, you're right. There's a big gap though, and I'm at the point now where comparison's the thief of joy, everyone. But you start to be like, really, these motherfuckers are blowing up left and right. These guys are selling out shows and making all this goddamn money. They're all making six figures now, all of them.
Yeah.
They couldn't hold my fucking jock. If they saw that they had to follow me on a lineup, they'd be shitting their fucking pants.
Right.
And hear that, you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I've literally done shows with people who are fucking big, who are making bank.
Right.
And they've pulled me aside and be like, hey, don't bury me.
Yeah.
I'm not even lying.
Right.
And
what's your Venmo?
yeah, could you guys Venmo me some money so I keep doing this? But it's...
Can you put it in the bottom of the screen right now? Just put it there.
Go for it, Austin. I'm fine with this. I'm talking about this on the podcast. Maybe it's therapeutic for me, but it's just, I don't know. Again, my point was though, like when you do something in any kind of entertainment, like if you're going to start a band or try to pursue acting or comedy, people just expect you to do it forever.
Right.
But like if you start off as an accountant and decide you want to switch to being a teacher, no one's gonna be like, "What?
Right.
Why would you do that?"
I know.
But really, at the end
Or
of the
the opposite,
day,
like if you're an accountant and then you like 5 years in, 10 years in, whatever, how many years in, you're like, I really want to do stand-up comedy. Everyone's like, good for you, go for your goals.
Yes.
But if it's the opposite, where you like do stand-up for like 15 years and you're like, I can't do this, I gotta be a banker, and everyone's just like, what the fuck, man?
right?
Yeah.
But like, why though? I think that's dumb.
Agreed.
I think people fall in and out of love with stuff. Passions change, hobbies change. And sometimes you're just like, I've said enough. I've said all I need to say.
Okay, I think
that's where I'm starting to go too. I feel like since I recorded this last hour, that who knows, probably still won't be out by the time this episode 12 comes out. What are we on, episode 11? It's 11? 12? This is episode 12, right? Yeah. Yeah, who knows if you've been out, but this has been, I've come up with the least amount of new material.
yeah.
I've always
But you're pretty prolific.
Yeah, I could admit that. I always try to do it modestly though, because throughout my time doing stand-up comedy, people have come up to me and been like, dude, you come up with more new shit than anyone. And I've always tried to be like, I've always tried to downplay it, like, oh, nah, it's just it's luck, all this shit. But I've really struggled, I feel like, to come up with new shit at the frequency in which I was coming up with new shit in years
Well, it's
past.
also the busiest you've been personally too. That's gotta fuck with you a little bit.
Yeah, I've definitely had the least amount of free time in my life. But because of that, I'm finding myself, maybe that's why I'm feeling more detached.
Yeah.
Because I'm not churning out the amount of new material that I was before. And I was always, and that was the thing too. I always told people, I'm like, I come up with a lot of new material because I get so bored with my material.
Right.
It's a survival thing.
Yeah.
Where some comedians can do the same act over and over and over again. I could never do that shit.
Yeah.
I have to do new shit. I usually forget my stuff and because I have a forgetful memory when it comes to my own material, it forced me to come up with new shit. Again, it's all survival. That's what. Here's someone who you love. Jerry Seinfeld once said about comedy. Someone asked him, "What's your favorite episode of Seinfeld?" And he goes, "Well, I look at it like what's my favorite joke? As comedians, we don't have a favorite joke. It's like asking you, what's your favorite?
You don't have a favorite joke?
Well, hold on. It's like he said." It'd be like asking you, what's the favorite breath of air you've ever taken? And your answer would be whatever breath of air gets me to the next one.
Right.
And he goes, that's how I view comedy. Whatever joke gets me to the next joke. And what's with Seinfeld, every episode I love, but whatever episode got us to the next episode, it's just like it's ever changing. That was his overall point. And that's what it is. It's a stand-up comedian a lot. It's like survival. I used to love opening with new shit, even though you're not supposed to, because it either kills and I feel like I got the biggest dick in the room, or it bombs and then it forces me to dig. And then that's when the rest of the act goes amazing. Because if you dig out of that hole, it's so much more impressive.
Yeah, my issue is that like I love the audience so much and I care for them so much, and I know that they spend money and I want them to have a good time. So that like it's hard for me to like branch out, because it's like, also, like, I mean, I hate my jokes and I hate me and I hate I hate the way I look on stage. I hate this right now. If I'm watching this right now, I'm going to fucking kill myself. It's insane. But I love performing my jokes. Like the jokes that I stick to do, I just like perform them every time and they're fun for me. And I like being on the ride with it, with the audience with it. And then also, but I like to improvise a lot in my sets, which I do, but then I don't come up with new shit because like something has to happen. I don't write, right? And I do more stories. So like something has to happen to me for a new thing to kind of birth, you know?
Yeah.
Which is hard because like in no way am I comparing myself to you, because I know you're a lot busier than I am. Like this is the busiest I've ever been too, like personally and with stuff outside of comedy. So it's like hard to like experience new experiences when I'm too busy with everything else. So and again, in no way am I saying being a father to is the same level of busy as I am, because it's not. Right?
Sure.
I'm not saying that, but yeah, I love being on stage. Like nothing makes me more happier than being on stage. It's
That's
like
awesome.
It's the person I like want to be. So to me to walk away from that would suck.
I know we said early on when we started this podcast for like episode 2, we wanted to not
I feel like I
get
didn't
inside baseball, but I'm okay with us talking inside shit right now, because again, this is an episode without a guest. So you guys listening or watching, and maybe
it's not inside baseball, because these are
because we're being personal and people can relate in their jobs and all that kind of stuff. It makes sense now that you said that, and me knowing you as a friend and how you are off stage, it makes so much sense why you're hesitant to do new material. And because it's your thought process of you care about the audience so much and you want to give them the best of you.
Right.
Because that gives them a better chance of having a great night. That adds up now. For the listeners, Jonah's one of those dudes. He loves hosting people. He loves being like, hey, do you need anything?
Right.
Do you want a drink? Do you want something to eat? I could get something. Like, he's one of those guys. Last week, we met up, Jonah, myself, and our producer, Austin, and Jonah ordered pizza, and the pizza came fucked up.
Yeah.
Not your fault, really.
So it's pepper and mushroom. I didn't know you didn't like mushroom, but it came roasted red pepper mushroom. And when you made that, I didn't realize. I just was like, I don't really taste the pepperoni in here. It's like one of those things, like when somebody says something and you're like, yeah, you know what? Fuck this shit. And you said no pepperoni, and then I could instantly taste that there's no pepperoni in there. I think like
But you wanted to order a whole new pizza, and I'm like, we don't have time for that, and that's insane. Don't do that. You don't need to fucking do that. But you were so like, you felt bad, and I wanted to say first, I was like, don't feel bad. You didn't know that I didn't like mushrooms. But then there was part of me was like, you also need to get half cheese regardless, because you don't know.
Oh,
you
can't assume. So boring.
But you can't. But you don't know what your guests like. What if you said to us, hey, I ordered food, and you busted out fucking like, I mean, we like Chinese, but I'm just using that as an example. Like, look, I got us Chinese food. And me and Austin looked at each other like, well, I don't like Chinese. I don't like Chinese.
Yeah, I'd be like, you need to
oh,
grow up, dude.
No, but you see, now you're blaming us when you didn't do your due diligence. Who orders food for people without asking ahead of time, what do you like on your pizza?
People like to show people new stuff.
Real quick,
I also like to show people new stuff.
I know you do.
Well, my favorite thing is to show people new stuff.
Yeah, you bought a friend of ours cookbooks for his birthday because he's 39 and doesn't know how to cook. And I told
no
you,
idea how to cook.
If you're 39, you don't know how to cook, you're not going to start learning now.
Well, first off, let's talk about this. So Joe Fernandez, a friend of the podcast, he won't mind us mentioning this.
Yeah, friend and guest.
Yeah, that's what I meant by when I said friend. I meant he was on the podcast. Okay, really?
You're not mic'd anyway, Austin.
Yeah, I don't need this right now. I don't need anybody yelling at me. The point is, okay, he's a 39-year-old man.
Yes.
Right. does not know how to cook. I had to teach him. We did a cooking show together where we had to perform and do that. I had to teach him how to cook. He was shaking. This man was a 39-year-old man was shaking because he didn't know how to use a knife. And then he goes later on. He goes, "Well, I want to learn how to cook." And I'm like, "Just buy a knife and buy a cookbook and just do just recipe after recipe after recipe." And then I told you what I was going to do for him. I was going to buy him a knife and buy him a bunch of cookbooks. And you're like, "That's stupid."
I did say that.
And I believed in it. And I gave this man, 39-year-old man, like a very expensive knife. I mean, a nice knife, right?
Yes.
And a bunch of books. And I gave it to him. And I'm like, "Here you go, man. This is what you really wanted to do." And his girlfriend's always like complaining that he doesn't know how to cook, that he lives with, his living girlfriend. I'm like, "Here you go." And a 39-year-old man goes, he looks at it and he goes, "Oh, yeah, thanks." And then walked away. I'm like, "You're 39 years old. What are you doing? At least pretend that you're also an actor. Just pretend that it was a good."
He should definitely pretend like he was grateful.
Yeah, at least be like,
sure.
"Oh, that's really nice." He's like, "Oh, thanks, dude." And like,
well, I called it. I told
away.
you he was going to be pumped for it.
Yeah.
Because if you've gone that long in your life, you're not going to just start now.
Right.
I just feel like that's the way it is. I'm not much of a cook either. I did the same cooking show. We won because my partner, Tito Jorda Sid, dominated. But he even asked me, he goes, "When I'm doing my set," because it's a show called Sautéed. It's a really cool show in Chicago. It's a stand-up / cooking show.
Right.
Where while it's teams facing each other. So it's two stand-ups versus two other stand-ups, like a blue team, red team situation. And while one comedian's doing their set, the other one is supposed to be maintaining the cooking.
Right.
And by the end, we have three major Chicago's a phenomenal culinary city.
It is.
It's a phenomenal food
Great
city.
restaurants. Yeah.
Some of the best restaurants in the world,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. And they will judge you. And it's funny because they call you chef.
Yeah. And you're
And
like, "Get the fuck out of here."
I'm like,
That
I'm not
bullshit.
a fucking chef. Okay. I know
Yeah.
you're doing that because it's like your industry. You call anyone
Yeah.
who cooks anything chef. But we won, surprisingly.
What'd you make?
Here's what I tell you what's surprising. We made cream of avocado soup and a chicken tostada or something. The soup was what
Can I
won
tell you
it for us.
something? I wonder. You and Tito did this.
Yes.
Who came up with that recipe?
Tito.
Of course.
Tito's Puerto Rican. So
Right.
of course he came up, or Mexican. Or he's half and half. He's Hispanic.
That was the joke.
Oh yeah, duh. Of course I didn't come up. I wasn't gonna come up with that. If it was up to
If
me,
you said like shepherd's pie, but like, that was Joe Kilgallon,
we
100%.
Yeah. And fucking hamburgers. So he made the soup.
He's
is
like,
what
"It's
won
all
for us.
potatoes." Joe Kilgallon came up with that.
Yeah. Potatoes O'Brien. So I was like, fucking just tell me what to do and I'll try to do that while you do your set. But anyway,
Right.
So here's why it was funny that we won. We didn't think we were going to win. It's funny. So the one guy said, he the three judges, and the one judge was like, "I loved it. I thought the chicken was the chicken tostada could have been better."
Right.
And he even admitted that he was like, "Yeah, I kind of fucked up the tostada part because it's like
Yeah.
a shell, or it's like, taco type thing."
Yeah.
Anyway, but the soup was phenomenal, so I'm going to vote for you guys. The second person voted for the other team, and they had like a salmon something or other.
Right.
Because our chicken was rubbery, he said. And he was like, "You got the fucking end piece." He's like whispering to me.
Right.
Then it came down to the final judge. The team we were facing were two black comedians. The final judge was a black chef. And so before she even started talking, Tito's like, "Wonder who the fuck she's going to pick." Like,
Yeah.
he whispered it to me. And I'm like, "Yeah, we're done, dude." And then she picked us, and both of us were like, "Holy
Yeah.
shit." Like,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
were shocked.
yeah.
We thought, no way is she picking this fucking white fuck
Yeah.
and Puerto Rican Tito over there. But then it shows you food is food, and it's not about all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And we were all pumped about
Yeah.
that. But honestly, when he was on stage doing his set, because you have to still keep cooking. That's part of it. They don't want you standing there watching.
That's what Joe Fernandez did
stood there
for
and
me,
watched.
because him and I were teamed up, and there are pictures and video of me chopping up everything, cooking everything, and he's just in the background drinking a beer. Because he didn't know like this a 39-year-old man
pretend to move
shakes when he has
things.
he has a knife in his hand. He is shaking up, shaking, because he just did. Oh, that's Rooney. Never mind.
I don't know what you're talking about. Who's Rooney? What's Rooney? Did
It's
you
a
have
band.
stroke?
It's a band. It's a
You
band.
had a stroke just now?
I don't think
know,
so.
Rooney.
Am I drooling?
I don't know. You went into a weird place though.
Because I was going to a band that I thought you knew,
No,
but
I
I
didn't know
realized
that.
it was
All right.
Rooney. It wasn't.
But I was
anyways.
going to say this. I had to cut the avocados, and I had no idea how to cut the avocado. I
Really?
fucked it up.
Oh.
He even showed me before, and he goes, "You put the knife in like this, and you
Yeah.
fucking take the pit out." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Cool." Fucking butchered them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was able to still make it work. Dude, his soup was phenomenal.
bet.
Anyway, though, so we were talking about like gifts and stuff like that,
Right.
and I was trying to get us back on message what we were saying.
Well, I had a question for you.
Oh, bring
and
it
this
on.
is a little inside baseball, but I think people love these stories. What is like either the dumbest show you ever did, or like what's one of the worst experiences you've ever had in your beginning career of comedy?
Beginning.
I have two.
Honestly, I don't have a lot from my beginning because I've told young comedians this that I meet. I go, enjoy that first year.
Yeah.
'Cause to me, the first year of comedy was still my
But you
favorite.
have like no shows that stick out where you're like, fuck, that was bad.
God, there were some
So
bad ones.
I
but-
did a show in the suburbs, right? And well, first off, no, I'm sorry. It's way down south in rural Illinois. I'm the first comic there, and the girl greets me, who's like running the event, and she's just like, okay, here's a show. And I go, cool, is there any language barriers or anything? And she's like, no, you can kind of do whatever you want. And she goes, you know how you can't say the N-word in Chicago? And she didn't say the N-word, she said the full word.
Oh, God.
And I was like, you can't say that anywhere. And she goes, I was like, the fuck? And then she goes, yeah, that's like saying hick down here. And I go, no, it's not. And she goes, well, yeah, it kind of is. Like, people take it that way. So, like, just don't do that. And by the way, side note, later on that night, I was texting my girlfriend she was like, how was your show? And I was like, it was fun. I've never heard the N-word thrown. I didn't say the whole word, but I said I'd never seen the N-word thrown around so easily before. And I didn't text it to my girlfriend. I texted it to one of my best friend's wives for some reason, who's black. And I don't know why. She just got a text out of the blue. Oh, I haven't texted her in years. I don't even know how it popped up. Where I was like, yeah, I've never heard the N-word thrown so easily around, like random. It was one of the worst days of my life. And then
What'd she reply with?
She just was like, ha 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 ha, like a laugh, like you're a weird Jonah, right? And I go to the host and I go, he goes, okay, I'm gonna go first. You go second. He goes, want me to say anything for you? And I was like, yeah, I guess you can say these things. And he goes, well, I'm going to do 20 minutes up front, so I probably won't remember. And I'm like, then why the fuck did you ask
Why
me?
ask that?
Why ask
Yeah,
that?
God,
Right.
I hate dumb people
And
like
then, so in comedy, you get what's called the light, right? And the light signifies like, hey, like this is how much time you have left, right? So generally on shows, you have a discussion of how much time that's going to be, right? So then I go, how much time do you want me to do? He goes, well, I'm going to give you a light at 10. I'm going to give you a flashing light at 12. And I'm going to give you a hard light at 15. So I go, do you want me off at 15? And he goes, I'm gonna give you light at 10.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna give you a flashing light at 12. And I'm gonna give you a hard light at 15. I go, so do you want me to do like 10 minutes? How much time do you actually want me to do? And he goes, I know you're new at this. I'm gonna give you a light at 10. I'm gonna give you a flashing light at 12. I'm gonna give you a hard light at 15. And I go, how much time do you want me to do? And then he looks at me and goes, I don't think you're hearing me.
Well, at that point, when you just
when
say
he gave
15?
Yeah. He still wouldn't tell me. And then so I was on stage and he gave me a light and I was like, I don't even know what that means. What does it mean? It was like one of the worst experiences. The second worst experience, that was the worst experience dealing with somebody. The worst experience is I had to do off-track betting bar, which is like where
I know it is. Yeah, TB. After we go there to bet
some
on horse races.
some people listen don't know.
Yeah.
And so in the middle of the show, all of a sudden you hear, come on, Seven, come on, fuck, make me laugh. And that was the show. It was just...
I did an off-track betting place, but it was actually kind of fun.
It was the worst
DeRosa
experience
and,
I've ever had.
Someone else.
I've seen people get engaged in the middle of a show and see them break up by the end of it. That's happened twice. Damn. 2 times.
I think I've just mentally blocked out. I've done a lot of horrible shows, and I think I've just mentally blocked out some. But I hate fucking dipshits. I hate these, that's what I call them. In comedy, you meet some of the worst people.
Yeah.
And these people running these shows, and they don't know how to run a show.
No.
And it's fucking hell.
It's insane.
I did a show actually not that long ago, and I remember thinking to myself, that maybe that was the start of the end for me, where it was in Midlothian, Illinois. And I remember...
What the fuck is that?
Exactly. It's like a southwest suburb. But as I got off the highway, I'm seeing all these like video poker here and gambling this here and all these gambling things. This is a message to everyone in America. Be aware of this. If you're in a town and every other thing is, advertising the free gambling they have, not free, but like legal gambling they have, you're in a shit town.
You're in a shit town.
Really rich places, rich suburbs don't have any of those. They don't exist. They don't want that shit in their community.
They have underground fighting.
Yeah, that which is cooler.
Where you bet on bum fights.
Yeah, your bum fights in some mansion. That's fun.
Did you ever watch that?
No.
Okay.
But like I've seen all this right away. I'm just depressed even going into it. And I walk in and there's video slots all along the wall and all these people glued to it. And none of these people are attractive.
Yeah.
Like if you were to tell one of your friends this is a relative, you'd be embarrassed.
Right.
Right? Because it's just like the dreads of society, these people.
Yeah.
And you're just like, fuck. And then I look, I'm like, where is the stage? There's no stage, just a floor.
Yeah.
And it's one of those big round bars and narrow on the side. So anyone has to get up to go anywhere. There's a pool table that they put a cover on. You have to ask them to turn the TVs off. No real lighting on you. And it was just fucking awful.
Yeah.
So awful. I ate shit. They didn't like me. The guy one or two before me did really well. I remember just being like, he's doing well with just like shit that's like
jokes.
Yeah, I mean like stuff that you talked about doing.
Like my wife, what a fucking bitch. Am I right? Like stuff like that.
You talked about that show where they were like, oh, you go ahead and say the N-word. Here's one of the craziest things. I remember, not my first year of comedy, but like my second or third year, we're doing a show up in Waukegan, Illinois. And this dude was like, he greeted us and he was the guy like running the show. And he was like a local radio DJ up that way. And he says to us like, so first time in Waukegan? And we're like, yeah. And he's like, Waukegan's not that bad. We've got our share of famous people come through here. And like at that bar, I'm like, oh, cool. Like, and he's like, what was the name of that? And he says the N-word. What was the name of that N-word?
Shut up, really?
What was the name of the big N-word he used to play for the Bulls? And you know what's crazy about that? I responded with, well, that doesn't narrow. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. You just had me buy into your racism.
Right.
Right?
Well, they're so confident about it.
Well,
you're
because
like,
he
well,
says,
who is the big?
Because I translated his racism into meaning big
Yeah.
black guy who played for the Bulls.
Yeah.
And then my brain was like, well, there's been a lot of big black guys who played for the Bulls. I didn't say N-word in my brain, though.
Of course not. Right.
But then I was like, fucking, what a piece of shit. We did the show and I couldn't wait to get the fuck out of there. The crowd was fine. They were cool.
Right.
But he was such a, like, just the way he casually said that.
Yeah.
Thinking
It's insane.
We'd be cool with
and
it.
when you start, you have to, like, you don't know anything.
Yeah. You don't have
and
the
you think that
stones.
these people have like the keys to the kingdom. So you have to be like, yeah, these are words that I hear normally. That's fine. I did a show, kind of.
Real quick, by the way, that guy ended up running for office up there. He ran for like county something or
Really?
other. Yeah.
He went?
No, he did not. Thank God.
So I did a show. It was a travel show. It was like maybe a state away. And it was with a famous, I'll tell you later, but a famous person that kind of like would book new people shows, like new comics. So he kind of would take advantage of all of us. And not like in a sexual, I'm sure, whatever. And he's a big forager.
I know who you're talking about. Go ahead, though.
Big forager. And so he drove me down, and every so often he's like, oh, mushrooms. And he would stop and he would just fill up his car full of like, random shit.
Yeah.
And then he goes, hey, want to see something? And I was like, okay. And we go off the beaten path, and he goes down those like rural roads, and then he stops like in this field, and he goes, open the glove compartment. And I open it up, and he goes, hand me those gloves. And there's 2 gloves, and he puts them on. And he goes, follow me. And I go, okay. Because I.
What are you going to do?
In my head, I'm like, this is how I get murdered. And I'm complacent. It's insane. And we walk through the woods, and he's like, you ever been around here? And I go, no, why the fuck would I be around here? And he goes, yeah, it's really interesting shit I'm going to show you. And I'm like, what is going to happen to me? Right? It's like weird how like, because he's authoritative.
Yeah.
I'm still like, I'm going to go with this. And then there's an overturned boat, like a little like rowboat. He flips over and he picks up 2 snakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's just like, oh my God, they've been mating. You want to hold them?
Too.
Yeah, really?
It was a sign. Like, on the off the highway, when
Isn't
there's
it
like a
that
sign that says this exit 5 miles from
Yeah.
here, one was on the ground, flat. And he just knows snakes go to those. It's
Yeah.
cool metal or whatever. So a flipped
Right.
upside down boat doesn't surprise me. I did not get out of the car, though.
Oh, smart. I was like, sure.
He goes, I'm going to get out of the car
I'm
to
so
get a thing.
dumb.
You want to come with me? I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I was just fucking around with my phone. I don't even know if my phone had internet then. I probably was just staring off in the distance.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he knocked on the window, had a snake in his hand, and like put it right up against the window. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude.
Right.
And
The
then I rolled
shit
on
that
I'm
we
like,
were
where'd
like,
you find a snake? He
Yeah.
goes, they're always underneath these things.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
that's why when like new comics now are just like, well, like they were like a little sarcastic towards me. I was like, I thought I was gonna get murdered.
Yes.
So what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
And for 10 minutes to do a 10-minute set.
It's just a different world we're living in now, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Jonah, should we ask one of the dumb questions we prepared?
Sure.
No? Yes, sure.
Of course I want to. Yeah.
Yeah. Austin, how far in the podcast are we? This is very professional. 15 minutes left. Okay. Jonah actually has something he has to get off his chest. Look, everyone, we filmed this podcast ahead of time. I'm saying this for the audio. For the clip, we'll clip this part out. But
as of right now, we are days after finding out about the submarine that imploded.
Yes.
Just found this out.
So
a week since they went missing, a few days since we found out what really happened.
So this is basically one of the dumbest ways you could die, and everyone's
Right.
talking about because of the whole system. And I know you did a lot of research, so
For this whole weekend, I have been watching YouTube after YouTube after YouTube after whatever, just learning about everything, and it's insane. First off, Joe, would you ever do something like that?
no.
Okay.
I'm not a fucking daredevil at all.
Right.
I don't want to. One of the biggest fears I have in life is dying in a way in which, as I'm dying, I'm thinking this was so fucking avoidable. Like I've got friends who've jumped out of airplanes. I will never do that.
Never?
Never, because if
You
the
have no death-defying thing that you want to do?
not one.
Would you ever do bungee jumping?
Nope.
Nope.
There was a
if you had the money, would you go to space?
50-50 on that one. That one maybe, because
Okay.
I feel like that's a little bit more protected, but who knows even.
Oh man, you just float out. Like, dude, gravity's so scary.
Yeah.
It's a very stupid movie, but
I just, here's how I view jumping out of an airplane. I just think to myself, if that chute doesn't work, the whole time I'm plunging to earth, I'm thinking about how stupid I was to do this.
Right.
I'm thinking, I paid money to die.
Right.
Why? So I could be like, look at me, I'm a bird, I'm a fucking bird, but I'm not a bird.
Yeah.
I'm a person who's floating in the air for a while, then I pull a chute. You know what I mean?
Is that what you think that people that go skydiving
I think
think in their head?
What?
Oh, I'm a bird. Look at me. I'm a bird. Oh, I'm a bird. I'm a bird. Look at me. I'm a bird. Is that?
That's what they think. They think I'm flying.
You know that they're just
I'm
like,
Peter fucking Pan.
Yeah. Is that who that they are?
I think that's what they're thinking.
Neverland. Look at me.
What do you think they're thinking?
I just think
And then what do you think they're thinking as they're plunging to their fucking death?
I think they're like, this is more windy than I thought.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure they get down and they think, man, what a
Look at me,
rush.
I'm a bird.
But these people,
I'm a bird.
look, I know you only live once, but like that kind of a rush that could result in death is just fucking dumb to me. I don't know why. It's just- I'm sorry. You want to rush? Fucking raw dog a prostitute. You know what I mean? At least you get to come at the end of that.
Yeah.
Right?
Have you
And
raw dogged a
penicillin-
prostitute?
No, I don't need a rush. I'm saying if you're one of those people who needs a rush.
Right.
I don't want to rush. I think we've established this about myself. I am a lazy person who just wants to watch reruns all day.
Right.
I want to watch shows I've seen already
Right.
all day long.
What's your most rewatched show?
Scrubs lately.
Okay.
Lately.
Yeah.
But then I go Seinfeld, your favorite comedian. I go New Girl.
Okay, so
I've
off
been watching a
podcast, I
lot.
did say that I don't find Seinfeld to be funny, and this is very much upset you.
No, it didn't upset me, but like I just think Seinfeld's one of those undeniable people in comedy. Look, he's not my style of comedy. He never swears. I swear
Right.
every special I've ever done, the first sentence I drop a swear word in.
You
I
little
swear
stinker.
a lot.
Really?
Yeah, I remember in the
you know, I
last
actually
one I
stopped
go,
swearing a
so
few
give
years
it
ago.
fucking, give it.
Joe, I stopped swearing a couple years ago.
Did you really?
Nah, I'm just fucking with you.
Oh, we see how he swore
Right?
in the swear? I like that, Jonah. So I just think Seinfeld, I saw him live in like 2011, 2012, so over 10 years ago now. And
Did you laugh?
I laughed
bet
at
you
some
didn't laugh
stuff.
once.
No, I laughed at a lot of stuff, but there were times where I didn't laugh because I was watching in like as a student studying a teacher.
Yeah, no, I watched
or,
Seinfeld
you know.
and I'm like, this man is an incredible joke teller.
Yes.
It's just that his brand doesn't make me laugh. It's like the Beatles, where I'm like, this is good music, but I don't like it.
Okay.
Like it's the same thing with Seinfeld. This is really good stand-up, not for me.
See, I even like the stand
Right?
up. It's just
Kenny
unflappable
Chesney,
confidence.
like this is bad music. I fucking love it.
Really?
I love.
See,
Kenny
I
Ches-
don't
love
like
Kenny
country
Chesney.
music
I
again
love
because I
Kenny
just
Chesney.
don't. I mean, there's some country songs I like. Like you said, you like pop country. I like the old school, like Waylon
Outlaw.
Jennings,
You like the
Outlaw,
Outlaw? Yeah.
like even like Garth Brooks' "Low Friends in Low Place." I thought was a
Yeah.
good song. I like there used to be like an honesty about it, and there felt like a working class vibe. Now it's just so much like every song just is like there's just no fucking let's
Story
get on
to
our
it.
fucking feet and let's go. But these people like being in their boots and their cowboy hats and singing about mama on flags.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, so let's talk about the submarine imploding. What do you think were the last words said?
Oh, is the submarine imploded?
Right.
Well, that's real quick.
Because first
though.
off, that guy is very like, dude, it's fine. And you know someone's like, hey, what's that sound? And he's like, dude, it's totally and then they fucking like just imploded. Or do you think someone's just like, I gotta take a shit and then just fucking
Well, that's the
because they're having
question.
a normal conversation. So what do you think was the news that we found out now, as of right now today, is that yes, it sounds like they might have known something was wrong and they dropped the weights to float up. Let's say they didn't know that, right? Let's say they're just it's a 3-hour drop to the Titanic. What do you think was the last thing that was said?
Oh shit! No, I think the N word was said a lot.
You think
no,
so?
I'm kidding. I don't know. No, here's what.
Someone was just like, "Hey, what was that? What was that N-word center at the?"
Who split
And
the
it
bulls?
explodes, yeah.
It explodes. No, I think
Do you think this guy was like,
You know what you
yeah,
just
this
did,
is a
though?
wireless controller, and then just fucking it implodes?
I think, the video I saw yesterday was it was on TikTok. The scientist was breaking it down where he was saying that if they died where the pressure of the submarine was compromised, Titan is the name of it, I think it was.
Yes.
They don't even know what happened.
Right.
Because
This
it
is
was
black.
6,000 pounds of pressure, 6,000.
I bet you that guy was like, I bet you that guy was like, you know that James Cameron, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking, and then it just fucking implodes.
That'd be pretty great.
Right?
Like in the movie Dumb and Dumber when they go the wrong way and they're in Nebraska, but he thinks he's in Colorado.
Yeah, like that John Denver's
like,
full of shit. Yeah.
He's like, I thought the Rocky Mountains would be a lot rockier than this.
Yeah.
John Denver's full of shit because he sang the
Yeah.
song Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Great tune.
Yeah.
But I think if it happened the way it did, it's like in the scientist video, he says your brain processes pain. It takes like 10 milliseconds for your brain to process pain.
Right.
But if what happened with the water pressure or whatever, you're gone in a millisecond.
Right. So
that
what do you
means
think?
they might have been mid-sentence where it's like,
That's
I think the
exactly what I'm
19-year-old,
asking you,
I think the
actually,
19-year-old was probably like, Dad, this was dumb. I really wish we didn't. And then
Yeah. Or you think he's just like, can I use that control? And they're just like fucking like,
I think it'd be best if, because they're in such a tight space, someone was like, who farted?
Yeah.
And then they're gel.
Yeah.
Because that's fun. Honestly, look it up, everybody. There was TikTok videos. I mean, by the time,
Do you
who
think
knows,
somebody
you
was
might be
actually
overly
like
done with this?
do you think somebody was like, yeah, no, I agree. Like, I agree. Pirates wasn't that, and then just fucking. Do you think? Like,
Maybe
same
like they
thought?
got Thanos snapped out of existence.
Right.
Yeah, that's what's fucking the one
Or
saving
that little
grace.
19-year-old was being a jackass. He's like, dude, what if we all just made out and just fucking like.
It's like I got a boner, you
Yeah.
know, and then it's fuck, dude. They turn into like gel.
I know.
Like, you're just.
It's
Like
so
they're not gonna find. They might find this submarine because it's metal,
Yeah.
but when they do, nothing's gonna be inside it. I'm not kidding you. Nothing.
No, I know,
Their
it's gone.
clothes.
Yeah.
I don't even know if their clothes will be.
Let-
They like you disintegrate into like a gelatin type
So
of thing.
let me tell you the greatest thing
The bones are gone. Everything's gone.
the greatest thing about this ever is James. There's no B to this. James Cameron. He is such a
Director
fucking,
of Titanic.
He's such a catty little bitch about because he's an expert in this stuff. And I saw an interview with him, and he's like, yeah, we all knew what happened. We all heard this because you could hear I guess like they have records of the explosion. You kind of hear something happening in the water. And he's like, yeah, so I sent that to everybody. I don't even know. He basically is like, I don't know what the fuck they were looking for. We all knew what the fuck was going to happen with these people. And he's such a bitch about it. It's amazing. He's on this interview, and so he gets interviewed. He's wearing a Fox Racing jersey the whole time, where he's just like, hey man, I gotta get going. Dave Mirra and I are gonna meet up. Like, it's insane. And so the newscaster goes, well, you know, it's been a really hard time for all of us. And James Cameron rolls his eyes. Like, it's been a hard time for all of us. And he goes, like, he rolls his eyes in camera and he goes, well, I just feel bad for the families of the lost people because those people were bamboozled into a person that was an idiot. I love how much a piece of shit James Cameron is.
I don't think he's a piece of shit.
He's just an asshole. I love how much of an asshole he is.
Sure, yeah, you could call that an asshole.
a piece of shit, but
look,
like-
this is one of those things where I have not made any jokes on social media at all or on stage as a comedian about this event. Because when there is death, even if it's everyone's
sad.
like, it's sad, right? But there are people who are like, no, fuck this shit. These are billionaire piece of shit assholes, and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I still am just like,
Still a loss of
it's
life.
still a loss of life, right?
Yeah.
And I just don't view life that cheaply. So, but in regards to that company and that piece of shit who was like, regulation kills innovation, all that stuff, here's what these fuckers do. They try to act like, government doesn't need to be involved in any of this. Trust us. We'll do it right. Let the free market decide. Let all this kind of shit does. And then when they fuck up royally, the first thing they want is the government and government agencies to send out search and rescue, send out all this shit. And it's like, no, you little fucking cunts. This is what you did. You decided to do this. And so, yes, it is hard for a lot of people. And it's easy jokes. I've heard people be like, you know what I mean? I don't want to stoop to those depths to make those kind of jokes. Like, so they're doing fucking puns about it, right?
Yeah.
And some of them are funny, don't get me wrong. But it's still a little bit like, this is a tragedy. And the person I feel the most for is the 19-year-old son who didn't want to go, but the dad was like, it's Father's Day weekend, let's have a bonding thing. But it's an easy target because, and I don't blame James Cameron for rolling his eyes at that person in the media. Because here's where the media pisses me the fuck off. This is a story about what 5 or 6 people who died because of a stupid ass company going on a voyage that nobody would even think to want to go on.
Right.
Even if you're a diehard Titanic fan and you
Well, the
read
crazy thing is
books
there's only
about it.
one little porthole.
Yeah, it's
right?
one little portal that you have to
So you
get
can barely
like,
see under.
Oh, look, I can see a
So
thing.
I bet you that guy, which I'm forgetting his name off the top of my head, the guy who owned it. You think he was like in the middle of one of his jokes where he's like, guys, if you look to your left, you can see nothing but a wall implode.
That's
right?
Jesus Christ. Yeah. What's? Oh man. Well, we'll never know.
I know.
But it's fucked up that. Again, and I've seen pictures from it out that window. It's just like, oh, that's what I've seen pictures of. Why would you risk that for the picture?
Right.
And I think the thing that kills me about it the most is that there's been major events where it's like there was 600 people who drowned, 600 like migrants or whatever. Who
It
were
happened
trying
a
to
week
trip.
previous.
Yeah, and the media didn't
Right.
cover that shit at all.
No.
Nobody sent out a bunch of search and rescue for them.
Right.
No one gave a fuck about these things. So that's where James Cameron's probably rolling his eyes, being like, okay, look, these
Yeah,
six
because the media took it. Like that's happening. Like it's sensationalized, right?
Yeah.
It's more. It's the story is more. It's just bigger.
the story.
It's insane. It's like we can maybe find. Even everybody knew they were dead. We could find them. Like it'd be amazing. Like just it's down to the wire. There's minutes left. There's the hours left. Like all that shit.
like the John Benet Ramsey shit. She was a little pageant queen. I feel bad for that little girl who got murdered, but that was a story for fucking decades.
Right.
People don't realize this. Some of you might be too young listening to even remember who John Benet Ramsey was. This was a major tabloid
Did you
story.
think that she was hot?
The fuck is wrong with you, dude? Although she's probably only 3 years younger than us.
Yeah.
Because it was one of those stories that went on so long. I remember someone being like, dude, she was murdered in like, Austin, can you look up when John Benet Ramsey was murdered? Thanks, Jamie.
Early 90s, right? Early 90s.
It was one of those things, though, that you'd be shocked. Whatever
and
year
her
he
parents
says-
did it for sure.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
But the media talked about that so long.
Right.
It was to the point where there was like so many other people who've been murdered, so many other little girls have been murdered
Oh, yeah.
that are missing that you could have covered. If you would have paid an eighth of attention to these other people who are out there suffering, you could have saved them. Where this girl has been clearly been dead for a long time.
Right.
But it's like, oh, it's the mystery. Who fucking did? They just love a whodunit.
Right.
And it's all about ratings for them. And it's
Right.
all about like, and they report on negative shit way more than positive shit. The same thing with social media. Facebook and Twitter will show you more negative. That's why
Right.
TikTok got so popular so fast, because it showed you positive shit. It showed you the shit you already liked.
Well, also it's like the migrant thing is sad, and like people don't want to be like have reality shown to them. They want to be
Yes.
like 5 billionaires are lost at sea. Like, oh my god, this is
What happened to
It's
her?
amazing.
I
Like,
want,
experimental
did you think this
thing.
happened? You think
Yeah.
like it's the whole it's the mystery of it.
Yeah.
Where it's like 600 poor people fucking die. That brings you to a sad reality that you don't even want to
realize
deal
what
with.
life is.
And
yeah.
it's fucked up about Americans, and I wish we knew more. I started doing family research, and it made me appreciate immigrants more because I learned my fucking ancestors' immigrant struggle, and it made me just go, "Holy shit, they did all this," and yet
Yeah.
I complain about things that are like they couldn't even dream of that kind of.
So you're saying the
convenience.
white man's struggle is harder than what people think.
I didn't say that at all. I was saying Americans need to look more into modern Americans right now. At the time we're recording this podcast and filming it, there seems to be more of an anti-immigrant sentiment going on than I remember at any point in my life.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Which
Stupid.
is fucked up because so many of us come from immigrants. And I always thought what
all of
made
us do.
America great in a lot of ways was that we kind of took from all sorts of different cultures and made one big
Right.
culture out of it, right?
Yeah.
Like we all love Mexican food. We all love fucking Chinese, sushi. So many of like our things that we enjoy. Like there's no such thing as an American last name. Like so much of our cuisine, so much of our culture, our music, all this stuff came from other parts of the world.
Right.
And so when I hear people immediately be like, fuck them, go back to their own fucking country. I'm like, you're a piece of shit who hates
Right.
your own life so much and you blame others for your thing.
Yeah.
Because if you're a happy person and everything's going well in your life, you're not going to get upset about someone coming here for a better life because your fucking ancestors did that a long time ago. I'm looking here at all these whiskeys and stuff like that. Yeah, some of them are American made, but Irish, Scottish inspired.
Yeah.
Right? Like if those people never come over here, we maybe never come up with whiskey. We might have come up with some other kind of drink.
Yeah.
And by we, I wouldn't even been here. So neither would you.
Right.
Jurkens, German. Kilgallon, Irish, right?
Right.
There's all sorts of different stuff. And that's why I fucking get annoyed when white Americans get pissed off about immigration.
Yeah.
It's just dumb.
So my dad was also a dum-dum, and he told me that Jurkens, it used to be Des Jurkens, it was French.
Oh, really?
And I was like, oh, we're French. And then I talked to my grandma about it, and I was like, I didn't know that we were French. And she goes, well, we're fucking German. It's the Jurken.
Yeah.
It was the Jurgen. You know, I was like, that's not what my dad said. And she goes, well, he's an idiot. And I was like, all right. It's one of those things where you hear something and you're like, that's the truth. That's what it is.
Here's one of the dumbest things I thought. I told someone once, when you're a kid, you kind of lie or embellish stuff. I told this kid who was about my age, I was probably like 9 or 10, so a little too old to still be living this. And his dad was right there with us. And they're talking about cats. And I'm like, oh, we used to have a cat. And
But you didn't have a cat.
I didn't have a cat, but I also then went on to explain about how it's died 5 times, but it's okay because it still has 4 more lives. 'Cause you know that whole thing of like cats have 9 lives,
Right.
And I went on to explain each of the 5 times it died. I'm like, one time I got hit by a car.
Really?
Another time it jumped through the barbecue. Another time I think
Did you eat it in that story?
Coyote got it. No, we didn't eat it in that story.
A coyote in Illinois?
There's
In
coyote-
Chicago, Illinois.
There are coyotes in Chicago.
Really?
Dude, I saw a coyote in Bucktown once. Swear to God, they come down through the train tracks.
It's like Collateral, the movie Collateral.
Is there a coyote in the movie Collateral, which is filmed in L.A. with
there's a
Jamie
wolf.
Foxx and Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there
There's a
you
wolf,
go.
I believe.
Okay. I have no fucking follow-up to that. I don't know what the fuck.
Well, it's insane that you see
We're
like,
at the 1 hour mark, right? We usually like to keep this podcast to an hour. Is there any closing remarks from you there, Jonah? I had some fun getting silly and personal with you today.
Is there any more questions you want to ask?
Not really, because we
No.
don't have time.
Okay.
So we
Anything-
value our
anything-
listeners. We like to keep this to 1 hour just for you guys.
Yeah. I thought about this week. I was thinking about the dumb things I've done in my life, and I don't know if you have a story that's similar to this, but it's about getting jokes wrong, and you thought you got it right. So when I was a kid, because of Animal House, there's a college shirt.
Oh yeah, Jim
and-
Belushi wears.
Yeah,
Or
so-
John Belushi. Sorry.
Yeah, up until past college, I thought the joke was they spelled college wrong.
So you thought
I thought there was a D in college.
there was a D in college?
Yeah, up until college, I thought there was a D in college, and I was like, "It's a funny T-shirt. It's funny because the word spelled wrong, not because it's just says college instead of just like like UW Wisconsin or whatever." I thought it was like this is college spelled wrong.
Did anyone call you on that then when you said
No,
it out
because this
loud?
is always a thought I
Oh.
had internally, and I
Okay.
never expressed this to anybody. Thank God I never did.
Yeah, that's pretty dumb, dude.
Yeah. That's so fucking dumb. I'm so bad at
I
spelling.
just don't know where you get the word D, a letter D in college.
It's just like college.
Because I think I could see
college.
college,
College.
like a ledge in college. Is that how you say it? I say college.
I'm not saying it's a
The
smart
way I
thought.
say college doesn't have a D, but you were saying a college, like the
College.
ledge of a building.
Yeah, college.
Oh yeah, that's pretty fucking dumb,
Right?
Well,
But I got it wrong for years, and in my head, I was always like, I should get one of those T-shirts because they spell it wrong. It's pretty funny.
that would be a
But
good.
really,
gag,
it was
though.
the joke. I didn't even think that the joke was generic college, not Harvard. I was like, it spelled it wrong. That's hilarious.
There's a D in Harvard. Dude, I actually have a similar story.
Really?
No, I'm not a fucking idiot. That's been the podcast for this week, everybody. I hope you enjoyed Let's Get Dumb. I'm Joe Kilgallon. That's Jonah Jurkens. You could follow the podcast on Instagram at Let's Get Dumb. And then also follow us on YouTube. We post episodes on YouTube. We've been throwing some clips up too.
Right.
And follow us on our social media.
Social media is like Kilgallon, Joe Kilgallon, right? Mine's fuck Joe Kilgallon.
That's your name?
Yeah. It's at piece of shit Joe Kilgallon.
All right, cool, man.
Fuck this man.
I'm going to go point out
100%.
words that you don't know how to pronounce, you fucking moron. All right. Thanks, everybody. Cheers.